It's a scene that has played in Olena Velichko's head over and over. Pro-Russian rebels took over her hometown in early April. Her husband Vladimir told her to take the kids and leave the city.
He took us to the train station and we said goodbye. He said, "I love you." He kissed me and kissed the children and left.
Several days later, her life and that of her 8 children, ages 2 to 16, suddenly turned upside down. It was June 8th, Pentecost Sunday. The church was half empty. That's because the city was under assault by both pro-Russian separatists and the Ukrainian army. Once the church service ended, everybody made their way to the front of the church to go home. But then the unimaginable happened.
The church called us and said my husband, along with 3 other believers, had been taken by men who were waiting outside the church.
Can you tell me what happened when you came out? Alexander Gaivoronsky, a church deacon, was there that Sunday morning.
The men wore masks and had machine guns. They told the 4 Christian men to get into their cars.
The rebels took the pastor's sons, Ruvim and Albert Pavenko, Viktor Brodatsky, and Olena's husband, Vladimir. Multiple sources tell CBN News what then happened to the 4 Christian captives. First, rebels took them outside the city and severely tortured them. The next day, June 9th, the men were put in a car and told to drive away. Then minutes later, they were recaptured and shot multiple times. Olena's husband was burned in the car.
I don't hate my husband's killers. It's easy to start asking questions, why did this happen? But if I keep thinking about this, it will only wear me out.
That same day, rebels burned down the largest furniture factory that belonged to Ruvim and Albert Pavenko's father. It had become clear rebels were targeting the city's evangelical community.
I never thought that in the 21st century, in a free country as Ukraine, it was possible to experience this level of persecution.
Sergei Dimidovich, a top evangelical leader in Slavyansk, says Christians faced constant threat.
The separatists saw Protestant Christians as enemies. They viewed us as a cult.
But the persecution was just getting started.
All the Protestant churches in the city were either taken over by rebels or forced to close. We are forbidden to meet in services and the leadership forced to leave or be under risk of arrest.
And the persecution was spreading far beyond just this city. Throughout the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, as rebels gain more territory, assaults against evangelicals are growing. 2 pastors told CBN News they were arrested and tortured for their faith. What would happen if you went back to Donetsk?
If I went to Donetsk today, I would be arrested at the first checkpoint and put in jail. The last time I was in prison, they beat me up so badly, but I kept preaching the gospel and telling them to repent.
Many believe the persecution is linked to pressure from the Russian Orthodox Church, and the pro-Russian rebels are only happy to do their bidding.
When I was in prison, a rebel soldier told me that they have an order to kill all Christian pastors who are not part of the Russian Orthodox Church.
While that has forced some to go underground, others are deciding to stay.
Many heroes are born out of this conflict, men and women who are boldly sharing their faith and helping those caught in this war.
Olena Velichko says there's not a day that goes by that she doesn't think of that last goodbye, that final kiss she had with her husband at the train station. But she is unwavering in her faith, trusting God to take care of her, the children, and Ukraine.
People often ask me how I'm doing. I tell them about a mighty God who can heal our hearts. Maybe not as quickly as we would like it, but the process is going on, and the prayers of people around the world help. The biggest thing you can do for me is to pray for me, for my family, about the future of my children and my country.
George Thomas, CBN News, Eastern Ukraine.